Greetings, I'm Chris, and I'm just going to give you a short demonstration on how to introduce a product. There's a lot of things about, the most important thing you need to think about introducing a product is why you want to. So I'm just going to quickly have a look at that today, but that's where the hard thinking comes from. And there are sort of more technical, mechanical type things that need to be done on the simulation, so that's more the focus of today. Let's assume that I've just started the company again and the CEO resigned unexpectedly, and I've come in to have a bit of a look and run the place until they can find somebody else. This is the situation I've inherited. We've got a few products around here. We've got Adam up there. We've got Able and Acre. We're in various places. I'm going to focus a little bit on Adam today because I know if we go up and have a look at reports and we go to the high end, I know that one of the most important criteria, is positioning for Adam. Last year they wanted a performance of 9.2 and a size of 9.9. 43% of the market want that. And age is also important. 29% want an age of 0. They want cutting edge, straight out of the oven. That's the kind of that's what those customers would prefer. We're never going to be able to give that to them all the time, but the closer we can get to that, the better we're going to be. I can see that Adam's a long way off that. I can look at the age. It's now 2.7. It's going to be 3.7. And, it's also the ideal positioning is down around here. So before we actually make the decision to put another product in, I want to go and have a look at, what if I did put that back into R&D? What might be another alternative? I'll just mention here, you don't need to add products to do well in the simulation. If you can keep one product in each segment, and you can give the customer what they want, most of the time you'll get a high distinction here. If you add more products in, you'll get a higher distinction, but you can still do well by leaving one. So the question about whether you want to add one in, another product, is something you need to kind of think about, but don't feel compelled to do that. Let's have a look if we sent it, if I was to put it into the R&D now, and what would it look like? We've got in round 2, I can see from my calculations here, I have a 10.7. That would put me, that was where the ideal kind of performance would be. And in round 2, size would be 9.3. Let's try that one. Let's see what happens here. Yes, that's down near where it is. So that's looking pretty good. It's cost quite a lot of money. It's $1.9 million it cost me for that little exercise. The age won't come out until the 19th of December, and that's a bit of a problem. December, I should say, 2019. This is an older industry. That's an issue. Ideally I want to get them out in the year that I'm working in. Otherwise that'll be blocked out and I wouldn't be able to touch it. And anyway, even if I did or spent all that money and I couldn't get it out until the 19th, I'd still have an age of 2.3. So, and they want 0. So the R&D is not an option for that. There is something interesting happening with it, though. I'll just point you to this. They didn't touch the R&D on it last year, and that's why it's sort of just drifting up there. It's actually going to end up next year or the year after. It's going to end up in the traditional segment. And Able, if we didn't touch Able, that would end up in the low-end segment. So there's an interesting sort of thing here. If I didn't touch the R&D on these products, they're eventually going to get into another segment as they get older. And so that's just something to think about. It's another long-term strategy you can think about. But today we're talking about just introducing a new product. So, yep, I think there's very good reasons to be able to add a new product here, and I'm going to add it into the high-end segment. I'm going to undo two official decisions, and that'll just get rid of my calculations. My figuring about trying to run a few different scenarios about what I really am going to do here. Right, new product, Ace. I need to think about now, where am I going to put Ace? Well, I'm going to put it into the high-end segment, and whereabouts and where am I going to put it? Well, that's something we need now to think about. Now, we will not be able to get out, you can never get a new product out in this year. I'm not going to get anything out into this year, but I do want to try to get it out into 19 and not much longer. So, if it's a very big, job, then it'll take a long time to get out of R&D. So we have to play around a little bit in R&D. So what I'm going to be doing is that round 2, I can't put round 2 in because it's not going to come out in round 2, and why would I want put round 2 figures in where we were? It was just about there. Next year it's going to move up into there. So what I need to do is think about what round 3 figures would be, and they're 11.6, because this is when this is going to be coming out. So that's when we need to start thinking about when we want this to land. We can't use it next year, and we need to put something on it like this. So we've got ACE here. Now we're also going to have to start thinking about some kind of reliability now, and the quality of the components we put into it. Remember that the better quality components, the longer it will last, and the more expensive they're going to be. So let's have a look at what the back here again. That should let us do that, but it won't. What I do know, here we go. High end. MTBF, they want a range of between 20,000 and 25,000. So I'm going to go low on that this year. It's just coming out. There'll be no awareness on it when it does come out. So I'm just going to play that and see how we go. Now, there it is. That's where it's going to be. That's where it'll be when it comes out. And don't forget, all these will have moved down a little bit, so that'll actually be inside that segment. So that's not a bad position. But I do have an issue here. At the moment, it's not coming out until January 1, the year 2020. And that's not so good for me. I need this to come out in 19, only 1 year. Well, how am I going to do it? You know, ideally, that's what the customers want. If I was to, ideally, they want it to be 11.6 and 8.4 in 19. But I can't do that because I don't have the resources to do it. I don't have the resources in R&D to be able to get that back in quicker. Maybe if I had a bigger R&D department, I'd be able to get that back into 19. So I have to play with these figures a little bit. Now they wanted 11.6 for performance, so I'm just going to take a little bit away from that. And they wanted a size of 8.4. I'm going to add a bit on. The less work they need to do here, the quicker they can get it done. So what I'm doing is I've gone to the ideal, but we're not going to get the ideal out on time. I have to go back slowly and reduce the amount of work they've got to do. So I've kind of reduced performance and I've increased the size a little bit. And that gets me into 19, which is perfect. When it comes out on November, the 6th of November in 19, it's going to be that old. And it's costing me 1.8 million, and that's where it's going to be. So everything's looking pretty good now for R&D, so I think we can move on and start looking now at marketing, if there's something we need to do in marketing. Now, pricing. There's nothing opened up here, and forecasting. Basically, the products, there's nothing happening with the product all this year, all of 18. It's going to be, they're making it, they're developing it and designing it. So I'm not going to spend anything on marketing for this year. But what I do need to do is I need to have production ready. I need to be able to make it when it comes out of R&D, and we get ready to be able to sell it, which is in the year 19. I need to make sure that I can. I've got something there to sell. So I'm going to need to think about what I'm going to, how much I'm going to be, that I will be able to make it. So let's have a look. This is the capacity at the moment. I've got no capacity on there at all. I can't make anything. I'm going to have to buy some. How much? Well, I'm not sure how much capacity I've got on these. I've got 600. These have been out in the market for a long time. But I need to put something on it, so I might just put 300 for now. Think about this later on as we go through, about what you might do. This is just a demonstration of how to rate a product. I definitely need to add capacity now, because I won't be able to have capacity until the following year. I also need to put some automation on this. So I'm going to put 3 on it. It's not as much as these ones over here, but because this is a high-tech segment and it's very specialised and it's a lot of kind of individual work, it doesn't lend itself to robots pumping out millions of kind of units. We're just doing a few, and it's very, very high-tech and technical. So we don't need a lot of, we don't need to spend a lot on automation, but we do need a little bit on there. So let's recalculate that, and we'll just have a bit of a look now at the, we haven't spent anything on marketing. We didn't need to do that this year. We've got capacity now. We're building our capacity, so we're going to be able to, when it's ready to go, we're going to be able to make it. When it comes out of R&D, we're going to be able to have the production line set up and ready to go, It's going to have a bit of automation on it. And let's have a look at finance and see what we can find out here. There's our investments, 5.4 million. That's our capacity. That's the capacity we bought, and that's also the automation we spent. So for now, that's all you need to worry about here. So let's go now and update official decisions. Obviously, we'd need to work on all our other products if we were, running the full business, but for the purposes of this demonstration, we don't. And exit, updated, exit. Now we need to go to next round. Advance game to next round. Yes, advance my game. And go to decisions. Should be pretty good with all these things at the moment. It's taking its time. Don't crash, please don't crash. Of all the times. Right, we're back at the front door of the company again. Let's go to decisions and back to R&D. Here we are. ACE now, all the segments have moved down, and we can see we've got ACE in there. It's going to come out this year, so we need to start doing a few things about it now. We need to start having some marketing. We need to make sure that when it does come out, which is going to be in November, people are going to know about it and people can buy it. And we're not going to sell a lot because it's not going to come out until November, but there's still kind of like 2 months of sales we could pick up there. So let's have a look at what we need to do in marketing. We need to put a price on it. Let's go and have a look at reports and find out what our competitors are charging in that segment. High-end segment, we can see all the established ones are around about 39, 34. What is the range is 29 and 39 last year. So they're going towards the top end of that. Here's one bold that's been introduced. They got 5% last year, and we're going to be in that sort of zone. They sold 165,000, and they had a price of 34. So that's kind of like what we could probably expect next year. And so I think we might be looking at something like that. Maybe a little bit less because Bold has already been in there and started work. So let's just keep these figures in mind. Sold 165 and at a price of 34. So let's go and put 34. Let's put 34 in. We'll charge the same as them. And they sold 165. Well, let's say we're going to sell. Let's say we're going to sell 100,000. We'll be a little bit conservative this year. We now just also need to start putting some promotion and sales budget on here. We need to do that this year, because if not, nobody will be able to get it. Here's ACE, our product over here. And again, we need to think about which is the most effective for the high end. That's good. Email is fair. Okay, so this is good. I'm doing this fairly quickly. Obviously, you wouldn't need to do this. We put 300 on there. I probably can't spend any more than that at the moment. Email is fair. I'm going to put 200 on that one as well. Make sure that you're always you keep your marketing up, and make sure, because if people don't know about it, there's nothing we can do about it. So I'm going to put another 200 on that one, and we'll recalculate. It's quite low still compared to the others. I'll see if it'll allow me to put another one on. No, it won't. The maximum I can actually spend on that particular area, I haven't got the money to do any more. It's going to be 300, but I might be able to squeeze a bit more out of these two here. I want to make sure that it's a new product, and I want to make sure that people are going to be aware of it and know it. Be ashamed to have a good product. It's got the age. Remember, the age is going to be fantastic. It'd be a shame not to have that great product sitting there and not being able to sell. Now, so we've got 6 products across the top here. Now in the sales budget, we've only got 5 segments. So what we need to think about is which segment is that going into? Well, it's going to the high-end segment. So we can see, by clicking that, we can see that we've got 2 products there. So for next year, we've got Adam in there still chugging away and selling a little bit, and we've got this one. So we've got 2 products in this particular segment, which means these people are going to have to work harder, which means we need to put more people in. Now, outside sales is strong for for this one, so I'm going to bump that up. I'm going to have 7 outside salespeople there working next year. And I'll probably knock one off that because I know that is not at all effective. In fact, I'll knock 2 off that because no point wasting money if we don't spending money on things that don't work. And I've got a good sales out there. They can get it now. So we've got ourselves a budget here, a promotion budget, and we've also bumped up our sales budgets in the high-end segments. Let's just take a quick look at what we production. Yes, don't forget production. So we bought our capacity. We're fine with that. We now need to forecast how much we're going to be selling. So the marketing department said we're going to be selling 100,000 units. You know by now we need to add a little bit onto that, another 15%. So let's add another 15% on, and that will give us that much. That's how much we're going to be making. Let's recalculate that. And we've got everything done. Tick the boxes. Yes, we're making it. Yes, we have. We've done our pricing. We have got a forecast, and we have done our promotion and sales budget. R&D. There's nothing we can do with R&D. It's been blocked out for this year, so we can't do anything. But on the 6th of November, that's when it's launched, and then we'll see how we go. Let's update official decisions. And let's get out of here, and we'll go to next year, and then see what we got. Next round, advance, yes, decisions, launch web spreadsheet. Go up to decisions, and in R&D. Fantastic. ACE has moved up there. At the start of the year it's going to be 0.1, which is fabulous, and it's going to be 1.1 at there. But we can, if we do something here this year, we'll knock that age back a little bit. And also, you see, we can use it. If that had been 20, if we had to put it into 20, we wouldn't be able to touch it this year at all. So things are looking okay there. Well, how do we go? Let's have a look at the high-end segment and see just what happened. This might need a refreshing. We've got something in here, and here we are. Here's ACE. We've got 2%. We sold 83,000, which is not too bad. We made 115,000, so we're doing okay there. We certainly need to be spending, for some reason or other, we didn't maybe didn't recalculate or something on our sales budget. Oh no, that's right, because this is we're sharing the high-end segment for that one. We needed to spend a lot more. We need to start spending next year. We need to start spending more on promotion because that's also low. We just need to make sure that we've got quite a lot of sales in the high-end segment. This will eventually come into the high-end segment. So that's pretty good. And there we go, set to start making decisions for the next year. There's my new product, ACE, is in the market and selling well. Thank you.